Places, everybody. And action.
It's time once again for the Hooked on Movies podcast. Today we will be looking at the 1994 release, Beverly Hills Cop 3, continuing the series. With me is Ken.
You what? I wouldn't rate a church bingo game without SWAT.
And Ted.
I got a wife and 3 kids. I ain't seen a $50 bill in 12 years.
And I'm Eric. Ted, you want a coffee break? Go get that son of a bitch.
That made this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to watch the movie again?
Oh, yes. No, you don't have to watch the movie again.
Sweet.
That's my gift to you. Well, gentlemen, what's going on? How did the week treat you, Ken?
So not much happened this week. I watched a movie called Love Crazy with William Powell. William Powell is kind of an actor in the last couple of years that I've kind of gotten accustomed to. I've watched the Thin Man series. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but
Nope.
he's a very
Not at all.
popular actor back in the 30s and 40s. I would definitely check his stuff out. Also watch, of course, the Olympics. It's all over.
Yay!
There were some things I wish I would have been able to see live, but when you're 6 hours ahead of us, replay. I'm not a big fan of watching replay when it comes to sports.
Well, they had the women's basketball game live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had men's basketball game live, too.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
We beat France.
Yeah. We were so dominant in all those games, weren't we?
Anytime you beat France, it's a good day.
Yeah, because you hate the French.
I hate the French with a passion.
Oui.
That's
we
right.
We barely won our semifinal game. We had to come back from 17 down to win by 4.
Whoa!
But we did it. We won the gold.
So Ken watched movies from the 30s and 40s that no one's heard about. What did you do, Ken? Or Ted?
I also watched the Olympics. I was very impressed with Steph Curry. He's left out of the GOAT conversation, but he's changed the way basketball's played. And he proved it in the fourth quarter. The only way to describe it is he was just unconscious.
Conscious.
It was ice in the veins, man. It was really awesome to watch. I'm glad I watched it. And then I watched a couple of movies. I watched a movie I hadn't seen is called 2-Day Stand. It was with Miles Teller. It's a kind of a romantic type of a thing.
I like Miles Teller.
Yeah, I do too. I really, really enjoy him. My favorite movie of his is Whiplash, of course.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. But then I also watched The Program, which is not that good of a movie. But it's got James Caan in it, and I enjoy it. The best movie I watched over this last week was I rewatched The Blues Brothers again, which I've seen probably 20 or 35 times if I've watched
just this year.
Once. Yeah, I watch it all the time. It's one of my favorites. And what inspired me to watch it was that Hard Knocks is doing the Bears, and they included the Blues Brothers in the intro to Hard Knocks this season. I was like, I need to rewatch the Blues Brothers.
By the way, I did buy 3 new movies this week. So
you're interrupting what I did this week.
I
can't
know, but
believe it.
You were going on for an hour. I needed to interrupt you on all the shit that you do. So
I have a lot of time on my hands.
Yes, you do. The Birdcage. You don't like Blast from the Past?
With Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone? Okay.
Yeah, nice little movie.
All right. Okay.
You have a problem with The Birdcage too?
I love The Birdcage, one of my favorites. Or is it The Birdcage 2? Did you just say The Birdcage 2?
I don't think there's a Birdcage 2.
There's not a Birdcage 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
That's right.
And then Creep Show.
Oh.
Love Creep Show.
Yeah.
There you go. There's 3 movies. What about you, Eric? What did you do this week?
Well, speaking of the GOAT, I finally sat my butt down on a plane, went to New York, watched the Yankees play, beat the Rangers, and then watched the Rangers beat the Yankees. So we are 2 stadiums short. of hitting all the MLB parks. We have the Red Sox in a couple weeks, and then Seattle, I think, end of September. So we're looking forward to that.
See the monster.
Yeah. And then when Oakland eventually leaves, wherever they're going to go, we'll have to see their new home. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they'll be in Sacramento forever. But speaking of the GOAT, I finally watched the roast of Tom Brady.
Uh-oh.
Been meaning to watch it, and I watched the whole thing, all 3 hours of it. Woo, boy. I'll tell you, I love it. Love it.
There were some really good parts. There were some parts, but
yeah. There's some mean stuff, just like a typical roast.
And was I right? The guy who has the podcast,
he was great.
He torched Brady.
He was awesome.
He held nothing back.
No, he was great.
I loved every second of it.
No, it was fun. I was on the plane just laughing. People were like looking at me like, "What's this guy doing?" So, yeah. And of course, I watched this movie while I was on the plane too.
That's unfortunate.
The Cure for Insomnia. Not.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, that was my week.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
I know, man. Quick in and out weekend there. It's what I do.
So, can we track where dead bodies show up everywhere you get in and out real quick?
Of course.
Sweet.
So why don't we talk about the first time we saw this movie? What about you, Ken? I'm assuming cable.
Yeah, cable. Well, first the movies were in the theater, and actually I was old enough to see this film when it came out. I don't even know if it is a rated R film or not, but it doesn't matter because I heard
it has a bunch of F words in it.
Yeah,
so
it's got R, yeah.
It's probably PG-13, probably.
Oh, no, I think it's R.
I didn't see it until it came out on video because, well, it didn't get a lot of good reviews, so I didn't bother. And at 94, I was 22. I was hitting the bar, seeing a lot more than I was going to the movies.
For me, man, I don't know when the first time I saw this movie, but I've seen it twice in my life. Sometime in the past, and then on the plane. And as I'm watching it on the plane, it's all coming back to me. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember this. It was probably couple years after it was released. Same thing. It's like Beverly Hills Cop 3. All right, whatever. And of course, Ted, his virgin eyes, first time he saw it.
You two fuckers made me watch this
That's
movie.
right. We made you watch this.
We're going to make you watch John Wayne soon, too.
God-awful piece of shit.
Yeah.
This is horrible. But yes, it is. I just looked up. It is rated R.
Of course it is. And so is this podcast, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
You two fuckers made me watch this movie.
Wow.
I can't get this hour
Spalding language. So
this hour and 40 minutes back of my life.
I know.
I'm going to be on my deathbed looking up and going, God, I wish I had that hour and 40 minutes back.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I'm going to remind you about this movie on your deathbed, too. So
Sweet. You probably will.
That and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And Clerks 3.
I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Clerks 3.
I know.
Clerks 3. I haven't watched it since I got out of the hospital last year because there's a little bit too close to home. A little bit too close.
Because it's the movie that put you in the hospital, right?
No.
Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, joy. Sorry, I was looking for something.
Sing the theme song.
I would have rather have watched an hour and 40 minutes of Ren and Stimpy than
I love Ren and Stimpy. You don't like Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah, me too. I do.
You
I love
idiot.
The fact that cartoon was actually on like in the afternoons was like fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
Let's just keep talking about Ren and Stimpy. It's better than this movie.
Well, maybe we can try and somehow shoehorn Ren and Stimpy into the podcast for this, but
is that your qualification for watching this reviewing this movie is that you've watched Ren and Stimpy?
No, my qualifications for being able to review this movie is I've watched garbage before, so I guess that qualifies me. Because this is hot garbage.
My qualification is you don't need to be qualified to watch this movie. This would be the kind of movie you would be, as Ted says, tied to the chair and watching it, what do you say?
Orange.
Clockwork Orange style.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't they blare this movie over the loudspeakers to get the Branch Davidians to come out?
Wow. Maybe they might have. Wow, that's great.
Maybe it was used in Guantanamo Bay as
Could
torture.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that bad, but we'll talk about it. I'll let you know that my qualifications was that I've been to a Six Flags Great America, which this part of the film was filmed at.
It was at Great America in Chicago?
No,
it's,
California,
Grand
Santa
Marin.
Ana.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was about to say.
No.
I mean, if you just look at the carousel, you could tell it's a Six Flags Great America
yeah. I mean,
carousel.
you mean it's not Disney World?
And it's
Don't-
not Berry Farm either. Couldn't get that one.
Don't
Nope.
get me even started.
If they couldn't get Santa's Village, so I mean, what the
Jesus
hell?
Christ.
Santa's
so
Village.
stupid.
Let's move on. All right.
All right.
All the people out there, you know where you can find us. You can find us on @HookedOn_movies. Of course, that's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And of course, we are on Facebook, Hooked on Movies. Love all the new stuff that's coming up, all the comments, all the banter between our listeners, our followers, and Ken, who, of course, is ahead of that. Doing a great job. Yay.
Thank you very much.
Any shout out to our friends out there, Ken?
Maybe a shout out to Jennifer Lane, who has suggested that we do Tombstone. Melissa I think it's Gunman. She had recommended us doing The Crow.
The Crow.
Actually, I think it's
Awesome.
also 30 years ago. I think Crow came out in 94.
God, does that mean that Brandon Lee's been dead for 30 years? God, now I feel old.
Well, you are old.
Hey,
Tell us about the
Ursula's been-
particulars, Ted.
Okay, well, the movie that aged me. We're talking about Beverly Hills Cop 3, directed by, this is just completely unfortunate, John Landis.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. It has a screenplay by Steven D'Souza. I've never even heard of him. Running time is 104 minutes. Brutal. 104 minutes. It was released on May 25th, 1994, so it ruined the Memorial Day weekend.
Wow.
It had a budget of $70 million.
Over budget.
Yeah.
And a box office gross of $119.2 million.
Global. Global.
How
That's
many
still money.
How
Yeah.
many unfortunate souls had to go watch this movie? So on Rotten Tomatoes, this has a critic score of a 10%. Certified.
Is that the
by-
lowest one we've ever looked at?
It's got
I
to be
believe
close.
so.
I think
It's gotta
so.
be close.
Yeah,
It's got to be
yeah.
close. And it has an audience score of only 35%.
And it makes
The
the Assassins look like Gun with the Wind.
Yes. The poor unfortunate souls that starred in this movie. Eddie Murphy as Detective Axel Foley. Judge Reinhold is back as Sergeant Billy Rosewood. Newcomer Hector Elizondo as Detective John Flint. Timothy Carhart as Ellis D. Wald. John Saxon as Orrin Sanderson. You might recognize him as the father of Heather in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Teresa
Agree.
Randall. Yes, the best of them. Dream Warriors. It has the
Oh, you
Dokken song in it.
Dokken. Yeah.
It is my
Teresa-
favorite of all those movies.
Yes.
Number
Yeah.
3.
It's awesome. Teresa Randall as Janice Perkins. Alan Young as Uncle Dave Thornton.
Wilbur.
Yeah. Stephen McHattie as Secret Service agent Steve Fulbright. Bronson Pinchot, well, this was after Perfect Strangers was done, is back as Surge. Gil Hill, probably the smartest move he ever made in his life was getting shot in the first scene of the movie
Oh.
as Inspector Douglas Todd, because he didn't have to suffer through the rest of the movie. John Tenney as Detective Levine. Lindsay Ginter as Holloway. Dan Martin as Cooper. And then we have a few
Cameos.
I was
cameos.
going to say, you're already scraping the barrel by the time you get the end
Yeah.
there.
I know, right?
So Al Green appears as the minister.
The Reverend Al Green.
Yes, the Reverend Al Green.
Yeah.
The great director John Singleton. He's a fireman. And then, for some crazy, stupid reason, George Lucas appears with his wife in this movie as the disappointed...
That's his wife?
The
Yeah.
disappointed man.
I thought it was
It
his
is-
daughter or something.
No.
No.
It is such an awkward scene and so stupid. And you know the best scene,
Yeah,
the best
I won't
thing
go
about
there.
that scene is it's so George Lucas. He can't interact with humans there either.
No, he can't. Why is George Lucas at an amusement park?
Yes.
He doesn't interact with human beings very well. It's perfect for this movie, I guess.
Yes.
So,
the highlight, apparently.
yes. So those are the particulars.
Well, we can talk production if you'd like. I don't know where you even want to start with this one.
Eddie Murphy even said that he wouldn't even do this movie unless it was to break the bank. And I guess what? They broke the bank. They gave him $15 million just to.
And that's in $1995.
Yes.
That's before anybody was making $20 million a movie. That's crazy.
Ted, did you mention Joey Travolta?
No.
As Giolito?
He was in there.
Joey Travolta.
He's kind of like Frank Stallone.
He
is exactly like Frank Stallone, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfect.
Exactly.
You don't like Frank Stallone?
No.
Take it back.
How about the one missing Taggart in this one? I guess apparently he wanted a lot of money to do it.
Taggart actually, he had another movie he was supposed to. He was doing Little Big League.
He dodged a bullet.
And Ronnie Cox. He also was doing something else, but then he still wanted to do the movie, but then he read the script and said,
he's like,
"Thank you,
I'll pass. Thank you."
Also, Paul Reiser pieced out on this movie too.
Oh yeah.
I didn't hear one thing about Paul Reiser, but it kind of is. And maybe it's because Mad About You was probably in production at that time.
It was
right?
probably, and it was huge at this time. I bet.
Oh yeah.
This was about the time it was transitioning out, and Friends was getting ready to take over.
There's a part there where it seems like it's right for Reisner. There's some ideas that were pushed around, so let me throw some ideas at you guys about what they thought they would do for this movie. Originally, they were thinking about doing this in England, whereas Bogomil was like captured by some terrorists and stuff, and so of course they have to go to England to kind of save them. So that's one of them.
Why is this going to turn into Axel has to save Bogomil's life again?
Right. Another one was getting him together with Sean Connery.
Oh, in England?
There is no way in hell they would have been able to get Sean Connery.
Connery would not do this.
He did it with Wesley Snipes, and I think that's why he was interested in doing it, because of Rising Sun with Wesley Snipes.
God, that's a low
and
point of Sean
John
Connery's
Cleese would also be in the movie as well.
Doing what? The villain, John Cleese.
I don't know if he would have been a villain, but maybe he would have been like the head of Scotland Yard or something like that. But I guess it was going to be based on, I'm not very sure if I know who the Cray brothers are. I think if anybody knows that, would be Ted. I guess they were gangsters from England that got caught in Detroit. So it's going to be loosely based on that.
The great Tom Hardy played them in a movie. I believe it's called Mobster or something like that. He actually plays both brothers because they're identical twins.
It was going to be loosely based where they got captured by Paul Reisner's character, and then they killed Paul Reisner.
Reiser. Paul Reiser. Not Reisner.
He's a nobody now. So.
Oh, Jesus.
Paul Reiser?
Yeah.
No.
He's still.
What has he done since Mad About You?
Stand-up comedy.
Stand-up, yeah.
He's living off the royalties.
Oh,
that's it.
I'm sure.
Kind of like Fan Club. One Trick Pony.
Seinfeld's not a one-trick pony.
He's one of the most popular stand-ups.
Oh, my goodness.
Good luck getting a ticket to his stand-up.
I know. Seinfeld has been kind of canceled recently. So.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's made some stupid comments.
He's Jerry Seinfeld. He can say whatever the hell he wants.
I actually like Unfrosted, but unfortunately...
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list.
I enjoyed
Another movie I have a feeling I'm going to be forced to watch.
But it's interesting to have, him killed off. That would have been, I think, more interesting than what we ended up getting.
To have Axel Foley killed off?
No, having Paul Reiser killed off. Is that better?
Sure, I think that, yes, that's good, yes.
Yeah,
instead of the chief,
Bogomil
what's his name?
Bogomil again.
But I guess Don Simpson and Brockheimer didn't want to do it because of another movie called Black Rain.
Black Rain's a great movie.
Michael Douglas.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were on board originally, but their budget was much higher, and then when they cut the budget down to 55, they're like, we're out. And then it went back up anyway to 70, so they should have just stayed on.
$70?
$70 million.
Yeah.
fun fact, the Sherman Brothers. You guys know who the Sherman Brothers are?
There are no fun facts in this movie, but continue.
Well, the Sherman Brothers are famous for writing most of the nostalgic songs from Disney's past. So It's a Small World.
Yeah,
They're the ones
I got
who wrote Wonder World theme song.
Well, that's unfortunate.
The reason why John Landis actually got this gig, okay, so John Landis, very well-known director, did a lot of great stuff, Kentucky Fried Movie, Animal House, Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London,
Thriller,
Trading Places, the Thriller video. But after Trading Places, with Eddie Murphy, what's his next movie? The Twilight Zone.
I like the Twilight Zone.
I like the Twilight Zone too.
But he got 3 people killed.
That's true. Good point.
People don't want to go near him.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I mean, he did do a few movies after that. Spies Like Us, Three Amigos.
Three Amigos is awesome.
I like Three Amigos.
Spies Like Us is good. Those are big movies.
Amazon, Woman on the Moon, and then Coming to America. No. But then he had a couple.
Don't gloss over Coming to America.
Those are big movies, man.
No, I love big movies. But then he had Oscar, and Oscar flopped. Eddie Murphy actually.
So did this.
Well, actually, him and Eddie Murphy actually went to blows in Coming to America.
They did.
I guess people were going to Landis saying, "Hey, where's our money?" And Landis says, "Go talk to Eddie." And Eddie didn't like that and put Landis in the chokehold.
Jesus!
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about a hate crime.
Depends on when and who you talk to. The word is when. This could be as a joke or seriously. This is what happened. So, but they made up, and then we got this stupid movie. And then after this, John Landis did movies like The Stupids, Blues Brothers 2000.
Ooh,
that's unfortunate.
Ooh. And really, after that, nothing to ever talk about ever again.
Yeah, The Blues Brothers 2000, that should have killed his career.
Well, apparently it did.
Anytime anybody makes a movie with Jim Belushi in it, they should be ostracized from Hollywood.
I like some Jim Belushi movies.
No, he's trash. He's not funny.
You don't think he's funny because he's not
his brother. Not his brother.
He's the least funny Belushi.
How many are there?
I don't know. I would take their mom and dad over him. He's talentless, and he's done nothing but make his entire career based off of the popularity of his brother. That's why he got onto Saturday Night Live. That's why he's gotten everything in life. That's why he's invited to sing the 7th inning stretch at Wrigley Field. It's ridiculousness.
I am intrigued. Who do you hate more, Belushi or John Wayne?
John Wayne.
Okay. Is John Wayne like the devil in your eyes?
Yeah, because he got people killed.
Okay. Did Belushi?
No.
Okay. Just curious. Just asking. Okay.
Not on purpose, at least.
Not on purpose. Just careers. Okay. All right.
And last note here, Joe Dante, Kevin Hooks, and Robert Townsend were all considered to direct this movie.
And Joe Dante does have an appearance in this movie, too. I forgot to mention that.
I would like to see Robert Townsend do this one.
I would have, too.
Joe Dante directed Gremlins.
So if Robert Townsend would have done this would have been like a blaxploitation movie.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It would have made fun of
blaxploitation. Like, I'm going to get you, sucker. It would have been a lot funnier. But if your main star doesn't want to be funny in the movie, well, now you got a problem.
And I wonder why Joe Dante didn't get it. I bet he wanted to bring the Gremlins along. That would have made this movie much more interesting, too.
The Gremlins? He wanted to bring the Gremlins in the movie?
Yeah, and let them just go run wild through Wally World or whatever the fuck that place is called.
What do you think this is, like a Minions sequel? Like, just put the Minions in anything, right?
Exactly.
They actually thought about doing Crocodile Dundee with Axel Foley as well. So that's
Jesus Christ.
And the Gremlins. Yeah.
And the Gremlins.
Yeah, in Australia. Yeah. Sure.
Let's get to the setup, Eric.
I guess we should, because we went off some really weird-ass tangents. Okay, the setup. Here we go. Detective Axel Foley plans to arrest a car theft ring at a chop shop. Axel cancels his SWAT backup, planning to use only his team for the raid. Meanwhile, a group of 4 men arrive at a chop shop to pick up a stolen truck with crates apparently belonging to the U.S. government.
Dun, dun, dun.
Done! The leader has his men execute the car thieves. The group prepares to leave when Axel and his team launch their raid, but are outgunned. And oh no, Inspector Todd, arriving moments later, is killed by the group's leader. Saw that one coming. When the group flees in the truck, Axel gives chase, but is intercepted by Secret Service agent Steve Fulbright. He informs Axel that the killer must remain on the loose because the federal government is pursuing a larger scheme in which he is involved. After Todd's funeral, Axel learns that several clues left behind by the killers point to Wonderworld, a theme park owned by Uncle Dave Thornton himself. Wow. Okay, well, the setup. This is a really weak setup, guys. Take it away.
The only interesting part about this whole setup is one of the fat guys that does the stupid ass dance. He was a main star of The Sopranos.
That's wonderful, but that doesn't help this movie.
No, it doesn't, because it was way before The Sopranos, and he wasn't famous. And
I sum up this movie right at the beginning with them lip syncing to that song.
Oh yeah.
When they start doing that, I already
know you're done.
Where this movie was heading. Yeah. I mean, this is supposed to be a serious movie. I mean, you're trying to figure out what you want to be here. Are you a comedy? Are you an action thriller? Are
you a musical? Because it's a chop shop.
It's a chop shop.
It's a chop shop.
They're singing and they're dancing and like, why do we need any of that?
Choreography. It's a chop shop. Are we doing Guys and Dolls?
They get killed. Or 2 minutes later.
Grease? Yeah, are we doing? It's. I know. I saw that. And I went, oh boy, this is.
The idea of the beginning is not too bad. I like that idea of Inspector Todd getting killed here and Axel needing to avenge his death. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm okay with it. Even though Todd says, that he get Inspector Todd gets lucky to get killed off in the third movie.
He probably had it mandated in his contract.
Yeah, he read the script, but he's like, Can you have me killed off? It says here that I'm just wounded. Can you make sure I die?
Can you make sure my head is blown off, please? Thank you. Yes.
Just in case you decide to make a 4.
Right.
So the idea of it is okay, but the execution is really bad. Everybody's just bad in the beginning of this. Well, I'm sorry, there's some miscasting here. Right off the bat, I think they should have made Timothy Carhart. Is that how you say his name?
All right.
Yeah. That would play the wall.
Yeah.
He should have played the Secret Service agent. And then I think Stefan McKinney should have went ahead and played the wall. I think if you switch those two characters around, those two guys around, I think you have a better bad guy. Because I think he fits the bad guy much better with his demeanor. Because he's got that more serious demeanor. Whereas the other guy, he's a little too, I don't know.
Goofy.
You see, a little goofy. He opens up the truck.
And he's like,
ooh, yeah, it's like he's just in his pants. What's that?
Wow.
The boxes that say U.S. government on them.
Right.
And Axel then jumps into a car that falls apart as he's driving it. It's too stupid.
And the airbag goes off.
Airbag goes off.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Of course it does. Why wouldn't it?
If this is Get Smart with Maxwell Smart, yes, you want those things to happen. But this is Axel Foley. You want this to be, when it's a car chase, you want it to be serious.
And you know what? Even Axel's first appearance at the chop shop, when he's going up to the door, was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the illegal chop shop?
Yeah.
Who says that?
This is Eddie Murphy thus far.
Oh, yeah,
Murphy,
clearly.
Right off the bat.
100%.
He says he doesn't want to be the wisecracking Axel Foley, from 10 years ago.
Serious.
He wants to be a little bit more grown up.
You chose the wrong fucking movie.
We don't want grown-up Axel Foley. We want smart-ass comic Axel Foley who gets the job done.
Landis says that he knew the script sucked, but he thought that Eddie Murphy would just go ahead and make it better with this comedy.
Exactly.
He doesn't really try here. He doesn't try at all.
Nobody tries.
I would have liked it better when they got to the funeral scene and he goes up to Todd's wife, and Todd's wife would be like,
God.
I heard you called off SWAT. You got my husband killed.
Yeah.
That's how it should have been. But instead it was, I heard he spoke to you last. He's like, the last words were about you. And it's like, there was the line that you had, Eric, is a good line though. Are you on a coffee break? I'll get that son of a bitch.
But it's stupid if you're shot dead and that's what you say. Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Those are your last words.
So cliche.
It's a little too comical.
The whole funeral thing, he's not even wearing his uniform. He's in a suit, and he's sitting with the family. That's not how cops operate when one of their own dies. It's a pretty elaborate thing, and everybody's dressed in their finest uniform.
And I think Todd has been demoted.
No.
Because I believe because he just goes by Inspector Todd now instead of Chief Inspector.
I think you're getting the Clouseau movies mixed up there.
Well, that's how
Chief Inspector Clouseau. Yeah.
That's how they put him down on the bill as Inspector instead of Captain.
He's always just been Inspector.
Yeah, I don't.
Was he just always been
yeah, he
Inspector?
wasn't Chief Inspector. No,
I thought he was Captain because
Captain Todd.
Yeah, I thought it was Captain Todd because. He was his boss, but it seemed like he said he was just kind of an observer here, which is kind of weird. If you're his boss, you're not an observer, you're his boss. So I'm wondering, all the things that Axel has done throughout the years have finally got him in trouble, and he's no longer, in charge. But he's also could be at retirement age too. So
he's in charge. And we're way overthinking this as well.
We are. We're really.
I'm not thinking that because there's not much to think about when it comes to this movie. I mean, so I'm grabbing at straws right now. So.
Literally,
the bad guy here, DeWald or whatever his name is, his performance is so stupid.
That's why it would fit the other way around. I think it would work better if he was the Secret Service.
I hate to do this, but it's like he doesn't know if he's in a comedy or what he's in. When they open up the doors, it reminds me of Jim Carrey playing the Riddler. And it's like, woo! All I know is when the guy started dancing in the chop shop, I wanted to shut the movie off right there. This is not going to get any better.
How bad are your bad guys? I mean, these guys who lifted the van. Well, the guys who lifted the van, the guys that are in the chop shop.
Right.
They don't have any heat. They don't have anybody with guns just to protect them to be on the safe side.
Exactly, right?
How stupid are these guys? I mean, you would think just the generic guys that work in a chop shop would have somebody with heat.
They would. If you think of a chop shop, you think of like the Hells Angels or groups like that. I mean, you don't think of these freaking dingleberries.
Well, I mean, these dingleberries are lip syncing at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, my God.
I think that's another reason why I'm qualified is I've listened to songs too. Not in a chop shop.
Horrible.
Because the music's blaring so loud, nobody can hear anything.
Right. Exactly. Nobody can hear the music over the music. Nobody can hear a gun firing. It's ridiculous.
Well, and it has some good elements that could have been done well, but it's not done well. It should have been done as a serious cop drama right there, right then, with no comedy whatsoever. Give yourself the action at the beginning of the movie without any comedy. I think if you go with that route, I think you would have a better tone for the movie, and everything else will work a little bit better. But because you don't know what you want out of this movie, it shows right at the beginning of the movie. You needed a different tone.
It's a train wreck. The fact that when Axel's investigating this and he finds out that this guy's attached to an amusement park, what are we doing? I mean, that's brutal.
Oh, the Detroit police department is not working with Beverly Hills or LA or wherever one the world needs to be. I mean, they would say, hey, we got some things that point to something happening from Wonderworld here. But no, you have a rogue Axel Foley that goes out there and does everything by himself. You have legitimate reason to believe that something's going on over there. And of course, nobody believes him. Nobody believes him when he gets there. So I'll probably go to our ratings already for the first part of the movie because I don't think there's much more to say about this crap.
No, there really is not.
Not the first part. Get ready for the second part, though.
All right. I'll kick it off. One hook.
I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to go with 1.5 hooks. There's some things here that could have worked, like I said, better. Inspector Todd dying does give it some meaning. I mean, a beloved character, one of our favorite characters.
He's lucky.
But he's the one character that I said before the podcast that I thought stayed in this movie.
Yeah.
Because, he's true to his character, whereas everybody else is not. He's the one character that has remained consistent from the first two movies.
This is one. I agree with Eric. The moment those guys started dancing, I wanted to shut them.
So I was like, yep.
I wanted to shut the movie off right there. I was like, okay, I'm done. There's no way it gets any better. My premonitions were right, because the second part is even worse than the beginning.
Well, let's talk about that, shall we? All right, so we're going into the build. Axel arrives in Beverly Hills and reunites with his friend, Billy Rosewood. Now promoted to Deputy Director of Operations for Joint Systems Interdepartment.
That is so stupid.
And I practiced this too. Let's start again. Axel arrives in Beverly Hills and reunites with his friend Billy Rosewood, now promoted to Deputy Director of Operations for Joint Systems Interdepartmental Operational Command, the DDOJSOIOC.
Jeez. I have to ask.
Yeah, right.
So stupid.
And meets John Flint, Billy's new partner after John Taggart's retirement.
You didn't like Flint?
Yeah, right. Flint calls his friend Ellis DeWald, head of Wonderworld's park security, to let him know that Axel's coming to the park for his investigation.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Axel befriends park employee Janice Perkins, who actually looks a lot like
Robin Givens?
Yes, a lot. I thought it was Robin Givens early on. Thank you.
She's also in Bad Boys. She plays the wife of Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Robin Givens. While touring the park's behind-the-scenes facilities, he is observed by security, then shot at and attacked hand-to-hand. Axel retreats to the surface, where he cuts in line to enter the Spider Ferris wheel ride. Axel rescues two children from the Spider after the guards accidentally jam the ride and is brought to park manager Orrin Sanderson. When DeWald is called in to contest Axel's claim that he was attacked by the security guards without prior challenge, Axel recognizes DeWald as Todd's killer, but Rosewood and Flint refuse to believe him because of DeWald's impeccable public reputation. Later, Axel is visited in his motel room by Uncle Dave and Janice. They inform him that the Wonderworld's park designer and Dave's close friend Roger Fry has mysteriously disappeared while inspecting the grounds 2 weeks earlier, leaving only a letter with a cryptic message. It's not really cryptic, but okay. Axel and Rosewood attend a banquet to honor DeWalt as Private Law Officer of the Year. That is the stupidest banquet I've ever seen in my life. And meet Axel's old friend Serge. Axel tries to goad DeWald, which leads to Axel and Billy getting arrested. Later, Axel digs deeper into a closed-off section of the park and learns DeWald and Sanderson are using Wonderworld as a front for a counterfeiting ring. How original. DeWalt was at the chop shop in Detroit to collect mint paper stored in the truck. That evening, Axel meets with Uncle Dave to ask him about further details to find a piece of viable evidence and discovers that Fry's warning letter is actually written on a sheet of stolen mint paper. Before he can make use of that evidence, Uncle Dave is shot and wounded by DeWald, and Axel is framed for the shooting.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yes, that's insane. It's like the news: black man shoots Uncle Dave. You know,
not racist at all.
Not at all. No.
All right. This has the worst section of movie. It ranks right up there with the worst I've ever seen. And that's Axel saving the kids off of the ride. That is the most ignorant, stupid, and horribly shot.
Unnecessary. There's just no reason for it.
It's dumb.
There's no payoff. First of all, okay, let's say he saves those kids, okay?
How did those kids hold on for that long?
That's true. That's one thing. They held on that long, and then when he gets there, they're kind of almost safer than they were at the beginning of it all.
Oh my God!
But
So
here's the thing.
stupid.
He should have been a hero at that time. People should have been applauding him. I mean, they were applauding him, but there should have been the news. Hey, this guy saved these kids from, he should have been famous for that, right? Instead, they take him and then they try to say that he was the one that broke the ride in the first place when there was a lot of witnesses to show that he didn't do it. So
He was on the ride when it broke.
Exactly.
How could he have broke the ride? So obvious that it's green screen.
Yeah,
It's not.
in a lot of spots.
It's not even funny. I mean, it's ridiculously stupid. There is no redeeming quality at all about that entire section of movie.
I think my biggest problem is Billy. I think making Billy this DDOGJAMOUSC,
It's not even
whatever.
funny.
No,
It's not even remotely common.
It's not even
comedic.
a funny. It's not even a funny acronym.
It's not.
No.
And him trying to describe the map, it's like, this makes no sense.
And it just happens to have Wonder World or Wally World or whatever the fuck it's called. The knockoff Disney World.
I think close they would have been able to get it to be called Wally World.
That would be awesome. Yes.
That would be an
get
insult.
Chevy Chase in it too, right?
Yeah, that would be an insult to Vacation.
Have actual cut a line of Chevy Chase. That would have been funny.
mean, it's just it's so horrible. And of course, we have to have the scenes where we dress up Eddie Murphy in an elephant costume.
Of course. Oh, you have to go undercover, right?
I can't describe how much I hated it. I despised it.
I mean, I like the fact that the kid punched him in the stomach and then he threw the kid in the.
He should have kicked him in the balls. That would have been much funnier. Because anytime anybody gets kicked in the balls, it's funny.
Okay.
Next
time I see you, I'll test that theory out.
Yeah, I go for it. It would
be funny. Yes,
it's funny.
Yes, it's so cliche. You know that he's going to have to dress up as one of the characters, right?
Exactly.
To get into the secret lair, right?
Right. Exactly. And of course, it's a ride that had been shut down. And of course, the security lady is the one who's been questioning things, and she's been demoted, and she knows where a third grader could have written this script.
Well, we don't know how old this guy was when he wrote
maybe
the movie,
a third grader did.
The scene where he's saving those kids is not even needed.
Yeah,
no, it's
not even needed.
It's disgustingly horrible.
It's like a 10-minute time filler.
Here's the thing. How many times do you have to put the kids in danger in a theme park? It doesn't go well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when that scene started, did one of those kids drop to their death?
No, it was
it was a stuffed animal.
Oh, I thought it was actually a child or a person.
That would have been more
like a big splat.
Eric just lowered his rating by half a hook.
No, I wanted to bite. I was like, no one reacted to the person dropping to their death. What the hell? Oh, a stuffed animal. Okay.
It's like, where's the blood? Why is there stuffing coming out of that kid?
Don't even get me started on the blood.
Oh yeah,
because
there's
no blood in this movie. Inspector Todd's shot and killed, and there's no blood. And here again, 80s cliche in that whole scene too. Nobody ever reloads. They just fire. They just shoot. It's lazy.
Here's the other thing that I have a problem with. We're introduced to Duwald and the actual meeting together way too early. There should have been some little bit mystery of Axel finding this guy. But no, it's thrown into your face right at the beginning here. And they see each other so often, I'm thinking they're going to go to prom together. It's just too much back and forth with the bad guy.
Isn't that where he gets his stupid-ass award?
Yeah.
Well, here's the other stupid scene that irritates me. Billy, who's now, BMOC over here, trying to coordinate this huge SWAT team on this truck in a parking lot. Why was it repainted, first off? What did that have to do with anything? And why do you need this big-ass SWAT team? He called, in the all of Southern California. It's dumb.
That doesn't work.
Wasn't funny.
There's nothing funny about it. Us not having Taggart really hurts here.
Yo, Hugh, Taggart would have put him in his place.
If Billy did something stupid, Taggart would let him know how stupid it was instead of just giving a look like Flint does. And I'm sorry, the Flint character is just such a waste of character.
That's Hector Elizondo's character.
Yeah, and he's a really good actor.
Yeah,
I like him.
I like
him
Hector
too.
Elizondo, but you're right, he's not good.
Yeah,
I mean,
like him too.
There's a part in here where Foley gets away from him, where the security guards are kind of telling them, and he goes, "Don't worry, I'll find him. When I find him, I'm going to kill him." Make him part of the bad guys.
Oh, not the big reveal at the end.
I thought he was one of the bad guys at first.
He's in bed with Wonderworld.
Yeah,
But he's not the bad guy.
No, of course not.
He's not. Everybody is just so cartoonish
Because
in this
it
movie.
seems like he's on the take.
Because he talks about how he wants a job there as a
he wants to
security
be
guard.
private security for his retirement. He's like, I'm
Right.
It's like, don't mess this up, Axel. Oh,
I mean, if it was Taggart, we would buy that. Okay, if it was Taggart saying all those things, I could hear him saying, "Oh, that was going to be my retirement. This is a friend of mine. He's a good guy." We almost get that in the next movie.
looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Not looking forward to it.
It's the roller coaster down. Now we're going back up.
There's no way but to go up.
You can't go down.
Movie, but.
You
Can't
can't.
get any worse.
And all the security guards are just these evil henchmen. I mean, they have no personalities whatsoever.
They're just the normal security people for the
Yeah,
Wonder.
because generally
World.
you have armed security at a amusement park.
Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
You think you'd only have a few guys, but everybody seems to be on the take. Every single security guard that's there seems to be in cahoots with this guy.
Well, they are.
And
That's the whole. It's his private security firm.
maybe you have a couple of guys, and the other guys are just following orders because they just have a job. But all these guys are, shoot to kill kind of guys.
Dumb.
It's dumb.
And,
It
they
really
have
is.
to, and they have to erase the videotape.
And nobody knows what the snow in between each scene is.
So
I mean,
poorly done. I mean, for 1994, you can do better than that. Seriously.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Lazy. I like some bad movies. I don't like bad movies that are lazy and just stupid. I have for stupid's sake.
Flynn, I get why he doesn't believe in Axel. He doesn't know Axel.
True.
Whereas Rosewood, known him
And
for
we
10
know
years.
nothing about him. We know nothing about Flynn.
No. But the thing is, Rosewood has known him for 10 years and still doesn't believe him when he says, "This is the guy that shot my boss." And Rosewood is like, "Oh, you're probably just distraught. It happens to police officers all the time. They see the killer in somebody else's face. This is somebody you know and trust."
Weak.
It's very weak. If Rosewood would come up and saying, if Axel says that this is the murderer, I'm with him. And they both go after this guy. And then they go against Flint.
Like he's been in the last two movies?
Exactly.
Yep.
Be consistent with their character, for crying out loud. Especially with Rosewood being more seasoned vet now. He's been on the job more than 10 years.
Right.
So give him some credit to be that guy. Flint would have been better as maybe the chief at this time. Maybe Rosewood's boss now.
Okay.
And Flint basically says, "I know Noel. He's a good guy. Axel, I know about you. I don't believe you." That would make more sense.
Yep.
And then him and Rosewood would go behind the scenes to try to infiltrate Wonderworld and get the killer. But for some reason, no. They underuse Billy's character. And what he's used, it's to stupid effect.
Oh, yeah. No,
yeah.
his whole, every scene he's in is dumb.
I mean, he's a badass in number 2. How did he become this little wussy guy in number 3 again?
What kind of award ceremony dinner has
Private security firm of the year or something?
Yeah.
It happens. I'm sure it does.
A Vegas-style booths out in front with people selling items. And that's where we have to run into Surge.
Sarge.
And Surge was funny in the first movie. He's not funny here.
Nope.
I like the candy bar thing when he talks about being a colonic and it comes out candy bar when you were 5 years old.
Yeah,
That is very funny.
yeah, okay.
Mm.
But then it's ruined by this gun that he's selling.
The commercial alone is stupid.
This would not have made a Saturday Night Live sketch.
No, that's a good point. It would not have.
In 94, they're making fun. I mean, you had the riots and everything, so you had...
I get what they're doing.
Right. They were trying to make fun of these people that were buying these assault weapons. This doesn't work then, and it doesn't, and it ages badly because nobody can think of what happened 30 years ago.
Right. There's no direct correlation to what you're supposed to be lampooning. It comes off as ignorant. It's beyond words how stupid it is. And the fact that John Landis let that in, it boggles the mind.
Well, Landis said his favorite character was Surge and Beverly Hills Cop, so that's why we're getting this, I guess.
You know what? You don't have to give him the stupid thing that he's selling or that he's pimping out to cops.
I don't mind that he does that, though.
And then, of course, because it was introduced there, Axel has to go back to him and get one of these stupid guns.
One of those stupid guns. I don't have a problem with there being a boutique and stuff like that. I think that, when you have these type of award shows that, they do try to sell some stuff. And some of the things are cool. Like, I actually think the bright light thing is actually would have been the right thing. And he uses it later on.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. The gun is just way too over the top. I mean, you have a microwave oven in it. You get a fax machine, a phone, fax machine, CD player.
Stop.
What else is in there?
Stop.
I think there's a video camera.
It's beyond ignorant.
And it could have been a really fun part. To go between the lines before they actually talk about the gun, they're fine.
Up until the gun, I actually pretty much liked the Surge part.
Yeah,
because Axel's because he says to Axel, well, you kind of killed my boss.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty smart. And then everything just got crapped on.
Why doesn't he ask about Jenny from the first film? I mean, hey, you see Sarah, you're like, hey, my best friend from the first movie.
Right.
How's she doing?
How's Jenny doing?
He asked about Taggart, but doesn't ask about Bogomil. He doesn't ask how he's doing.
And they went fishing together.
And he came out there to get his killer in the second movie, and he doesn't even mention him in the third movie.
Hey, whatever happened to her? She wasn't in the second one.
Jenny.
Not in the third.
Not in this one.
Not in the third.
Not in the fourth?
Jenny.
Is she dead?
Not in real life.
Okay.
Oh, Jenny.
Just her career?
Just her career. She hadn't done much after that.
I see.
She went and screwed up Forrest Gump's life.
So here's my biggest problem with this whole movie, and there's a lot of problems, but the biggest problem is the mint paper. So he figures out what the paper was, right? The $50 thing is on the thing. Why the fuck are they printing out $1 bills? How much money are you making off of $1 bills?
Well, okay. It is dumb. Why
$1 bills, man.
You wouldn't do ones.
Exactly.
You would counterfeit 20s. 20s
or 50s?
No, because 50s draw too much attention as well. But see, that's what counterfeiters do. That's at least what they told us at the bank when I worked at the bank.
But the paper they stole had the $50 ones on there already.
Right.
Why drop it down to $1? If you said 20, I would
because
they're 20.
Because they're all stupid.
Everybody could tell that when they watched the movie right off the bat. They're printing out $1 bills. Everybody could see that. Why can't the director see that? They're like, oh, we screwed up. We should have done $1 bills. Because how many sheets of paper? Or 10s would even been bad. Anything lower than 20s would have been. First of all, you would have needed a lot of paper to make the money that you needed to make.
20s are the most circulated bills.
Yes. So I would agree with you. 20s would make sense. But you already put the $50 paper out there. You need to make 50s.
Right.
It makes the stupid lip syncing at the beginning of the movie tame by comparison. It is so blatantly stupid to do something like that. John Landis, no wonder after this movie does he not have another movie that even is close to even being anything. He's done. He should have at least attention to some detail. Your script is shit, okay? We'll give you that. But the fact that you allow them to print $1 bills, I mean, if I'm Eddie Murphy, if I'm Axel Foley, and I see that they're printing $1 bills, I just laugh and walk away. It's not really part of my problem. You want to make money off of $1 bills? Yeah, you take your time. I have all day.
What is their plan? Are they going to circulate? Are they going to take real money from the amusement park that's brought in and exchange that with the fake money?
That makes sense.
But here again, it's never explained.
The prices are $40 per, $35 per ticket. A lot of people are probably paying with the $50 bill.
Right?
Or they're bringing 35 ones in.
So horrible. And nothing's explained. And then when they try to discredit Axel, what are they, moose bucks or whatever the head fucking cartoon character,
right?
Their Wonder World Bucks,
Wonder Dog Bucks,
Wonder Bucks or something.
Wally World Bucks, or I don't. That made me cringe too.
Did you like the scene where Axel puts his face on the dollar bills?
Yeah, how does he do that anyway? I mean,
because he's just that good.
I mean, it's 94. It's not like you have a cell phone that can take your picture and then you upload it to the computer. It's not like the computer has a camera on it in 94.
And
right?
Axel is obviously a computer expert who can manipulate a crime syndicate printing machine.
You couldn't even do that. You couldn't even do that in 1995.
Yeah.
I mean, Photoshop hadn't even been invented. And here's the thing, Ken, you brought up Get Smart earlier. The funny thing about Get Smart is
the TV show, not the movie.
Right.
Okay.
I like them both.
Because the movie sucks.
Movie's good.
You knew that he was in on the joke. And that's what made it funny. Maxwell Smart was in on the joke. They try to make Axel Foley out to be like James Bond. He knows everything. He can do everything. He's beyond smart. He can jump from, one impossible carousel holder to the next. And he can save children. And he can shimmy down.
Does that make Surge, what is it, X, or the guy who has all the trinkets? Q. Does that make him Q? Yeah, Surge.
It really makes him into Inspector Drebin. I mean, with the car falling apart in the Frank Drebin. Yeah. And having the airbag explode in front of his base. That is something that would happen to Frank Drebin.
Right. But this movie is not nearly as smart as The Naked Gun. And that had O.J. Simpson in it.
That was awesome.
Maybe it would have done good if it had O.J. Simpson in this movie.
This would have been post-murder O.J.
Exactly.
Simpson.
Just like a little.
Maybe it would have been better.
O.J. was going through his trials here. Yeah.
The only thing that they didn't do was have Axel solve the Nicole Brown Simpson murder.
They're playing a little bit with a little bit of parody here, and it doesn't work. We talked about all of Landis's other films that were really good, and there's a lot to like. Blues Brothers, Animal House, Trading Places. But what do these movies have in common? They're comedies. There's no action really in any of those movies. You have some chase scenes in Blues Brothers,
but it's a comedy.
But it's a comedy. And then those are chase scenes. Those are not
the Blues
action.
Brothers,
and they are far-fetched chase scenes.
Right.
The Blues Brothers is a musical.
Come on, the Illinois Nazis falling off the building.
I love that.
I've always
love
loved
it so
you.
much.
Yeah.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
Yes.
Though in the Blues Brothers, the car is supposed to be a character.
It is. It totally is. You're absolutely right.
But like in the second movie, in the Beverly Hills Cop 2 movie, you got a director who, correct me if I'm wrong, did Top Gun.
Yep.
And
Tony
did some
Scott.
other. Yeah.
Well, he would have been doing True Romance and stuff like that at this point.
Right, but what I'm saying here is you went from a guy who was all action
a legitimate director.
A legitimate action director,
right,
to a guy who's a legitimate comedy director.
And there's no
that's
comedy.
Where this movie and Eddie Murphy doesn't want to do a comedy. He doesn't want to do a comedy
movie. Then he shouldn't have done this movie.
You're right.
Hey, for $15 million,
it's
a
payday.
He's going to do this movie.
For $15 million, I would shit on my career too.
Yes,
and he already had been shitting on his career up to this point, so there was, I might as well get paid for it at that point. So, and then of course you get Uncle Dave that gets shot.
Of course.
And the guy who plays Uncle Dave was Wilbur from the Mr. Ed TV show.
Oh.
So
Oh, really?
that's why I said Welber earlier.
I was gonna say if
Oh
you're gonna
my
shoot
God.
if you're gonna shoot Uncle Dave, wouldn't you shoot him in the head? Wouldn't you go for a
Yeah.
headshot?
Yeah. How did he live? He was shot directly in the chest, right where the heart should be, and he's
Wow.
still alive.
So why don't we go ahead and talk about our ratings, unless you guys have anything else you want to
Well,
on this, movie.
I'm sticking with a 1.
I mean, can I go with a half?
Sure.
you could.
Yeah.
You could go with 0 if you want. I don't care.
I mean, I'm so disgusted at this point. It's a half, and that's stretching it.
I'm being nice because I'm still at the 1.5, just
I
because
don't know how you got a 1.5.
there's
on
some
it.
things that I still like about Axel Foley. I like the speech that he gives at the banquet. I mean, that's a little bit more like
Because of
Axel
course
Foley.
of course he has to end up on the stage.
That's the one time his character is consistent with the other 2 movies. And that's the only reason why I think I'm sticking with 1.5 at this point, is because there's still some things I do like about Axel. All the other characters, I really have checked out. I like Surge until he brought up the gun. Billy's a big disappointment here. Out of all the characters, he's the most disappointing for me. Out of all the characters that are out there.
They're
They
all
abused
disappointing.
Yeah, they abused him.
So, Eric, why don't you go ahead and let's talk about sticking the landing on this movie.
Oh, Crash and Burn? Okay.
Yes, let's talk about Crash and Burn.
Let's talk about Crash and Burn. All right. After getting away from DeWalt and bringing Uncle Dave to a hospital, Axel sets out to the park to save Janice, who has been taken hostage. Rosewood shows up later.
Because of course she has.
Well, you have to, of course. Rosewood shows up later to the park to assist him and is able to alert Flint as well. The ensuing shootout kills the rest of DeWalt's henchmen and leaves Axel, Rosewood, and Flint injured. After a hand-to-hand fight, Axel kills DeWalt.
No
Wow.
blood.
Oh,
No blood.
Sanderson is killed by Agent Fulbright, who then appears before Axel to explain that he was right. Axel realizes that Agent is involved in the counterfeiters, so he fatally shoots him after a brief struggle. Later, Axel, Rosewood, and Flint attend a special event at Wonderworld where Dave, having made a full recovery, thanks Axel for his assistance by creating a new character for Wonderworld with the name, dare I even say it, Axel Fox, while Axel begins a relationship with Janice. Oh my goodness, this is probably the worst ending of a movie that I have seen in recent history. I don't even know where to start.
I don't even know how many more times I can say that term. I need to come up with
Something new.
A new synonym for
Get
this.
the thesaurus out, Ted.
I don't know what's worse. The fact that the Secret Service agent, of course, turns out to be in cahoots because he stopped Axel every single time.
Sure.
And if by this point you haven't caught on that he's a bad guy, then I feel bad for you.
He even looks like a
And
bad guy.
You should.
That's why I said he should have been the main bad guy.
Yeah.
You need to go have your IQ checked.
But Axel doesn't give us any reason for it. He says, "You know what else I found out? How did you find that out?
Exactly.
What evidence did you find that implicated him in it?
Other than the fact that he stopped you every time.
Every time he had a good reason to stop him, though. Let's be honest. Yeah,
Whatever.
Here's my thing. I'll go with what you were saying, Ted. How does Dave make a full recovery? Not only does he make a full recovery, but he does it before they do. So at the end of the movie, he's giving this speech. There's nothing on him. He's wearing a regular suit, and like nothing has happened. They're in wheelchairs, and their arms in a sling and everything.
Yeah.
But here is he up and standing like nothing had happened.
And he was shot in the chest.
Right. He should be out at least
and
3
he's
to 6 months.
100 years old.
He should be dead. He was shot directly in the chest. He should not have even survived long enough for Axel to get him to the hospital. Words can't even begin to describe. The mental gymnastics you have to do to give this any credit would make Simone Biles cringe. It's horrible.
I don't think it's that horrible because it's done all the time. It's done in almost all kinds of movies that somebody gets shot near the chest or in the chest or whatever, they somehow miraculously survive.
Okay, it happens all the time.
Happens all the time.
Name the last time you saw somebody shot in the chest and they miraculously survive.
Well, I mean, Rambo,
Rambo
Riggs
kills
from
everybody.
Riggs in Lethal Weapon 2.
Well, now you're talking about even a shittier, just as shitty movie as this.
Oh, I'm not classifying Lethal Weapon 2 with Beverly Hills Cop 3 in any type of way.
Lethal Weapon 2 is the Gold Krugerrance, right?
Yes.
No, it's not as bad as this. Not even close. No,
But
Lethal Weapon 4 might be, but it's not as bad as this.
But here's the thing: 80s and 90s movies did this all the time, especially with the good guys. The good guys would get shot all over the place, and they would still keep on coming.
But the one thing about this movie, like you said, is every cliche there is. The guns never reload.
Oh no, you broke the cliche one.
I did. People get killed. They don't die. There's no blood. You have to suspend your reality and belief in anything.
The movie's already fucking rated R. At least put some fucking blood. It was almost what it reminded me
Where's
of.
our striptease scene, by the way?
Hardcore nudity couldn't save this movie.
They didn't even try.
When
Didn't
they
even
shoot
try.
those-
I know.
when they shoot these scenes when somebody gets shot, it's almost like they have these little things. I can't think of what they're called.
They're like blood packs that explode?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're triggered.
Right.
And it's like
they explode before the gun even goes off.
Those didn't even work because there's no blood. And of course, Ken already mentioned it, because you have to have another dumbass comedy thing where Rosewood has his arm in a cast, and of course it's got the rod in it, and Axel's walking around with his arm in a sling. Everybody else is sitting here because it's comedy.
That's funny?
Because it's supposed to be funny.
One funny.
And there's Uncle Dave, who, you know what, was just shot in the chest, but he's,
point blank, mind you.
He's out there. He's out there ready to introduce.
He's dancing, man. He's ready to go.
And that's silly. But here's the thing: what I don't get is
silly is not even. That's an insult to the word silly.
I don't know if it's an insult. I don't think it's the most horrible thing in the world, but it's not good either, because this whole movie is just consistently not up to par. But Rosewood getting shot almost looked like he's passed out. He looked like he could die. What does Flint and Axel do? They joke about it.
They laugh.
Yeah, they're laughing about it.
Right.
Oh, he needs medical attention. He might be bleeding out.
It's like somebody gave them laughing gas.
Yeah.
Flint gets shot accidentally. He's just behind him when he shoots the bad guy and then gets shot in the arm. Axel doesn't deserve to have a relationship with Janice at the end of this movie.
Or Robin Gibbons.
He earned it in the first two movies, but in this movie, he didn't earn any type of relationship.
Ted, you didn't buy this, did you? You rented it, I assume?
No.
Well, I actually have all three movies. I have all three movies in a box set. The third one came in the first two.
Of course.
So.
Because it was free.
That's how they market it. Buy two, get one free, yeah.
Because you bought the first two, you're forced to watch the third one.
Can we all agree this is like on par with Rocky V, or is Rocky V better?
Rocky V is
that's Tom. That's comparison.
Yes.
Because I almost confused it with Drago.
No, not Drago.
That's Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Gunn, baby.
Tommy Gunn.
Gunn. It's tough, isn't it?
I would give this a little bit of a nod over Rocky V. Actually,
I see. It's it's tough.
Just barely though.
It's tough.
Just barely, but
it's tough for shit. You know what Beverly Hills Cop 3 is just a slight bit better than?
Don't you dare say Godfather 3. Don't.
Caddyshack 2.
Ooh.
It's slightly better than Caddyshack 2. That's where I'm at. Because, in my opinion, that is the worst thing ever put on celluloid.
Caddyshack 2 is really bad.
It's disgusting.
Caddyshack 2 is a totally different movie.
They end up playing mini golf.
Okay, but Caddyshack 2 has a whole different cast than Caddyshack 1.
Because all of them,
Chevy Chase.
Because they all said fuck off.
Right. But here's the difference is you've got some of the original cast here in Beverly Hills Cop 3. What's their excuse?
Just two.
$15 million.
$1
$15 million, exactly. So Caddyshack 2, I agree, is a horrible movie, but it's not like the original cast came back and made a crappy movie. The two main characters of the first two movies came back, and it sucked.
All right, what do you? We brought it up earlier, man. Blues Brothers 2000. Ooh.
There's some good music in Blues Brothers 2000.
It's the only thing to save it, a little Cab Calloway.
I refuse to watch Blues Brothers
The
2000.
the last 20 minutes of
That little
Blues
kid
Brothers
annoys the
2000.
hell out of me.
I
Yeah.
refuse to watch it.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch it, but listen to the music a bit. You'll like the music.
So buy the soundtrack.
Does Jim Belushi sing?
Well, it's John Goodman.
Yeah, and Belushi.
Oh God.
Oh, that's right. It's Goodman and Aykroyd. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It's Fat John Goodman.
Yeah.
So he looks like Belushi.
So
No, he doesn't.
So here we go.
No, he doesn't.
From a distance.
Here's the other thing. We just talked about music. The soundtrack here kind of tells you again.
Great
what
segue.
kind of movie we got here. The soundtrack is not good at all.
Oh, it's horrible.
R&B, 100 and I think it was like 168th on Billboard's top 200.
If
I remember right.
It's
For one that topped the Billboard charts in the first two, you didn't get anything from the Pointer Sisters.
Nope.
You know, they were in the first two movies. They're not here.
They
You
even
didn't
mentioned the Pointer Sisters in the first scenes of the movie. They talk about the Pointer Sisters.
Do they?
I missed
Mhm.
that.
I'm pretty sure.
You might have. I don't
know.
know.
I might have hallucinated.
You
it.
might have.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably the best way to watch this movie is with
I know.
hallucinogens. So.
Yeah, no. That's insanity. There's no redeeming qualities about the end of this movie.
There's no edge at all to this
It's
movie.
dull.
And
It is a dull. You're right. No edge, no comedy. You can definitely tell that Eddie Murphy doesn't want to be there. He's phoning this
it's
in.
funny when
Oh,
it
you
shouldn't
can
be
tell.
funny. It's funny when it
Oh.
should be funny, and it tries to be too serious when it shouldn't be as serious as it is. It doesn't know what, as Ted has said in the past, what lane to choose. It doesn't know which lane it is in. In fact, it's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's going off the cliff.
It is going off the cliff. Yeah.
And you know the scene that you can tell just how checked out Eddie Murphy is in this movie
Every
is,
scene that he's
is
in.
when is when he quote unquote exposes the Secret Service agent.
Dun dun
There's-
dun.
There is zero emotion in that entire scene. There's nothing. It's nothingness from him. He's just reciting lines.
Even the fight at the end between him and the bad guy, it's anticlimactic. I wish there was something that I can hang my head on here and say, okay, it's not that bad. But the more and more we talk about it, the more and more it's just, ugh.
It's that bad.
Yeah.
Well, did this movie stick the landing? No.
It didn't even take
Didn't
off.
take off, man.
It crashed like a Boeing plane.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. All right. I like that. It crashed like a Boeing plane. This is probably one of the worst movies I've seen in quite some time. And it's that way for two reasons. Number one, if this movie was made independently of the other movies, it might not have been as bad. But the fact that you're following up Beverly Hills Cop 1 and even the second one, that makes it 10 times worse because you know what you had. You enjoyed what you had. And you're seeing the series kind of go downhill. 1, 2. You're like, my God, they made a third one. And that scene with the fat guys there just doing their little dance and their lip sync, oh my goodness. I'm like, I'm checked out. And this movie just did not get any better from that. And my review's getting worse. I'm going 3/4 of a star. This ending offended me. It was so bad. So bad.
I couldn't agree more. We're like 130 episodes into this podcast. This is the worst movie we've ever recorded.
This is worse than that Antonio Banderas movie you made me watch. Which one was that?
Assassins.
This I will even admit that this movie is worse than, dare I say it, Elf.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the worst movie we've covered. It offends me on so many levels. It's lazy. It's stupid. Not funny. and the action sequences even suck.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a train wreck from the moment the credits start at the beginning of the movie.
And it's so offensive because you have a great director, you have Eddie
Yes.
Murphy, who can turn a movie around.
Exactly.
You had all the basics there to really make this thing even just equal on the
He turned
second.
it around, all right.
Oh, he turned it around. He turned his
I-
back on it. It's just offensively bad on all levels.
This is zero hooks.
Zero hooks.
There is no redeeming quality about this movie. Nobody should go out and watch this movie.
Nope.
This movie should never be rewatched again. I will never, ever rewatch this movie. I'm offended that I had to watch it the first time. I don't know why, except for $15 million. Why Eddie Murphy and John Landis would have made this movie.
Money makes the world go round. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not as offended as you guys, and there's other movies out there that I'm much more offended by.
That we've watched? That we've done?
No, this is the worst one out of the ones we've done.
Okay, so we're all in agreement there.
We're all in agreement
Okay,
there.
yeah.
I'm not going to go. I'm going to stick with the 1.5. To me, it's kind of like a D plus type of movie.
1.5?
Well, there's a lot more movies that I can think of right off the bat. Graveyard Shift.
I would rather rewatch Maverick on a loop for 24 hours than watch this movie again.
And I understand what you're saying because I agree with you guys.
I'd rather rewatch that crap movie Ken made us watch at his house.
Oh dear God, yeah.
Oh wow,
what movie was that?
Hysterical.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that. Yeah. Oh, guess what? Our next movie will be. Yeah.
But yeah, he's still Axel Foley, but
that's what's so offensive.
Right. I mean,
he's Axel Foley.
It's a little bit of a shell of Axel Foley, but there are moments where he does pop out. The funny thing is, he still swears, but he doesn't do crazy things that he would do in the first two movies. This elevates the second movie.
Of course it does.
It really does.
Oh yeah,
the second one looks like an Oscar contender.
Right, it makes it feel like at least an enjoyable movie. And I think we were giving it 2 to 2.5 stars on that one.
But that's what it deserved.
Right. I think if you brought a Taggart, I think if you switched the bad guys around a little bit, took a couple things out, like the
Wally World,
completely
changed all the writing.
I would rewrite Wally World in there, but I would not put him in the park itself. I would keep him in the behind the scenes and stuff like that.
I say you go with the English version.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really cool to do. That's where I'm at.
Axel Foley in England. Why not? Hitting on English white women? Yeah.
Hey, well, there'll be a 5. You never know.
It probably will be.
Dear God.
So you give it 1.5, huh?
I give it 1.5. I could consider dropping it 1/4 of a hook, but yeah, somewhere around there.
Would you watch it again?
No, I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Probably.
No, I mean, if I'm flipping channels, there's nothing on, and I find a scene that I think is terrible, I'll watch it, but I won't watch it from beginning to end.
I'd rather watch Home Shopping Club.
Mm-hmm. I'll never watch it from beginning to end, for sure.
Oof.
I'd rather watch Mike Lindell sell me my pillows.
Yeah. Oh, I love Mike Lindell. That's the best.
We can make that arrangement.
Then he can convince me that Trump won the 2020 election.
That's why I would watch the Mike Lindell commercials. They're the best. All right, so we're never going to watch this movie again. That's great.
No,
we get it.
No,
but we will be watching the next movie.
Oh, and I am looking forward to this.
I'm skeptical.
No, I've not watched this. I'm keeping an open mind. I'm really excited about it.
All I have to know is the Rotten Tomato meter is a lot better on the next one than it is on 3.
What has he had? He's had
30 years.
Almost 30 years to atone for this movie?
Yep. Yeah, 40 years ago was when the original one came out, too.
That's crazy.
So, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I might have you guys come over on Friday to watch it together.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I'm game. Maybe we'll do that.
I've already seen it. I know you guys haven't yet, but I've already seen it.
They all die at the end?
I cannot tell you.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all the time we've got on the Hooked on Movies podcast. Join us next week for Axel F., or better known as Beverly Hills Cop 4. Hopefully we'll like it a little better. Thank you for listening. And as always, my precious.
See you at the movies.
See you next time on Hooked on Movies.